Okay, so there's this video tag on YouTube, I think Alex Carpenter and some other YouTubians have done it. It's the Hunger Games tag, and I just finished the last book a little while ago, and it's probably the only series that I've, like, severely fangirled over since Harry Potter. And so there's a list of questions that they have, and I kind of wanted to do this just because, like, the books were amazing. That's all there is to it. So the first question is, what is your favorite book in the Hunger Games trilogy? With me, I really like the first one because, I mean, they were able to do character development through the whole story instead of, like, making the first, like, 6 chapters just, this is this character, this is their backstory. You learned about the characters, like, clear up until the very end and even continuing through the other books. Probably, though, I mean, it's a really close tie between the first and second one, just due to the content and twists and those sort of things. So, I mean, between 1 and 2, it's a really close tie. Alright, so the second one, how long would you last in the Hunger Games? Realistically, I would probably be the first one to die. Like, the girl that, like, makes camp under Katniss's tree and gets killed first after the initial bloodshed at the cornucopia, like, that would probably be me. I don't have a lot of, like, nature survival skills, and I don't have it in me to kill another person. So, realistically, I couldn't do it, I don't think, even with, like, your natural human survival instinct. In not reality, say we lived in a fiction world, I would like to say that I could win because I'm stubborn and I like to take care of those around me, and so I'd probably make it like kind of like the Katniss Peeta situation where I would probably get attached to somebody, I know that first off. So, I mean, it would probably be me protecting someone up until the very end and having to make that kind of, like, well, who's gonna make it out of here alive situation. Number 3, what is the strangest thing you thought was going to happen in the books? I have no answer for this one, really, because it was kind of, the way it kept feeling for me is like you're reading and it's like, oh, it can't get worse than this, it can't get worse than this, oh, but it does. So, through all of the books, it was kind of like, it can't get worse than this, can't get worse than this sort of thing. So, strangest thing I thought was going to happen was that it was going to twist around, I mean, spoiler alert, I thought it was going to twist around and Katniss was going to get all caught up with Peeta and then end up with Gale in the very end, and some crazy, Peeta was going to go crazy and, like, it was going to be a gory ending, regardless, if you can see where this is going. How was I introduced to the Hunger Games? It was a lot of people telling me to read it. Mostly at work, a couple friends online. It kept popping up in, like, the Amazon store, like, a recommendation for me. And so I decided to finally buy it and read it, and I couldn't stop, obviously. I read the first one and was, like, freaking out. I was like, someone buy me the second book, someone buy the second book. So it was just kind of a lot of opinions going, this series is amazing, you need to read it, and I picked it up finally. Favorite moment that happens in the Hunger Games? Oh, jeez. Probably, oh god. In the first book, probably when the Hunger Games are finally over, when the Game Maker finally said, oh, just kidding, you guys can both live now. As far as later on, I don't know, it was so up and down for me. I don't want to, like, go beyond that for those of you that are, like, not reading it all the way through yet. There wasn't necessarily a lot of happy, but I have to say I cried happy fangirl tears at the end of Mockingjay, so. Favorite character. I have a lot of favorite characters. Katniss I really liked to begin with, but I felt towards the later end of the series she was getting really whiny. I mean, I can understand, like, I get way into my books, first of all. So when I get into my books, I kind of attach myself to one character, and if I continue reading into it, I get sucked in. Obviously, I just said that, and, I try and, like, put myself in the character situation, like, how would I react were this to happen to me? So, I mean, like, after Katniss kind of started, like, losing her marbles, my birds are giving their input, too. I kind of put myself in that and said, oh, what would I do in this situation? So, outright, my favorite, I really, really like Peeta. And I hear that a lot, but it's just his character, and he's such a genuine person, and I really like that. Trying to think. I liked Rue a lot, too. And that one was kind of, like, bizarre for me, in a way. But probably altogether, out of all the books, I would have to say Peeta, just because his character stays so genuine through the whole thing, no matter what happens to him. So the next one, what district would I live in? If I could pick, it would probably be District 4, just in the sense that it's a lot to deal with water and fishing and that sort of thing, and I really love the ocean. So that would be my first pick. As far as, I guess, the map of Panem goes, I would be in, like, 11 or 12, I think? Anyway. Next question. What was the most emotional moment in the books for me? Oh, so many. I cried through all 3 books a lot. I cried lots of fangirl tears. The first one definitely would have to be when Rue died. That one just rocked me. And then the end of the book when they're coming home, and it was just kind of a lot of the scenes where, like, they're coming home and Katniss is having her nightmares and Peeta stays with her the whole night and just, like, is there for her. Like, that made my heart melt. That made me cry happy tears, and I haven't done that since Harry Potter. So, the second book, all of it was emotional. All of it. And, like, I don't want to give away spoilers again, but I literally cried through all of second. Like, from chapter 3 onward, I was sobbing. Last book, the ending, like, I cried through the last half of Mockingjay, too. So, I mean, it's all emotional, and it's really well written if it makes me, like, cry like that and feel so much for these fictional people. So, number 9, what item from home would you take into the arena with you? It's gonna sound outright cheesy, and I'm not taking this from the book at all, but probably a locket. Just because, one, because I have a nervous habit, like, if I'm upset or under lots of stress, I mean, I have to hold on to it and play with it and stuff, and because, like, you know, pictures of my loved ones, like, I would use that as strength, like, oh, I have to come home, like, sort of thing. So probably a locket of some form with, pictures of, like, loved ones in there. The most evil plan someone made in the books. All I'm gonna say is Catching Fire. All through Catching Fire, the whole thing, the situation of it can't get worse than this, and then it gets a lot worse than that. The most evil plan, all of Catching Fire. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. Next one, what are you most looking forward to in the film? Probably that they stay true to most of the little details and, like, little things in the plot that really ties it together. I know with, like, a lot of, book to movie films, they have to leave out a lot just because of the time limit, And that's, like, I keep comparing this to Harry Potter, but with Harry Potter, there was a lot of, like, little details that they had to leave out, which was kind of unfortunate because you're missing, you don't get a lot of the, like, understory, kind of. So I'm hoping with Hunger Games they leave in, like, a lot of those things. One that I'm really kind of nitpicky on, and it's gonna be weird, is that in the books they really emphasize that Katniss has this, like, amazing singing voice, and that's what reminds people so much of her father. Like, that's one of the things Peeta keeps pointing out is, oh, you sing like your father, you sing like your father, you make the Mockingjays stop and listen. And when Rue dies, she sings to her, and so I'm kind of hoping that with that, that the actress can really hold true to that, because I think that's kind of a really interesting detail and character trait about Katniss, is that she can sing, which is whatever. So, last question. Who is my favorite villain? For the longest time, I kind of considered Haymitch as a villain, but that's not really true. Probably just because I don't like him. But out of all of the books, my favorite villain, everyone's gonna pick President Snow, because that's obvious, but I'm probably going to say from the last book, President Coin from District 13, because she's just so sneaky and so sly, and it's just, I was, like, gripping my book through the whole thing, and I was just like, she can't do this, and so it was kind of, the ending was really good for that. So, probably I'm going to say, President Coin is probably my favorite villain. If not that, I would probably say maybe, they wouldn't really be considered villains, but from the first book, the careers from the first Hunger Games, that, I don't know, just because they were humorous and they counted as a villain for that. So, yeah, those are the questions, those are the tags. If you guys have read it, like, because I don't have a lot of people out here to, like, fangirl this book over. So, if any of you guys have read them and want to, like, answer the questions, I'll copy them and put them in the description bar. And we can talk about this, and we can all be Hunger Games fans together. So, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, I guess, and see you later. Bye.